Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith in the Black, and we're coming into the weekend, and SPY monthly, whew, chop shop still handily inside month, which we can expect when you look at the heavy sector rotation we've been watching. So if we blow it up there, you can see that inside month. So what we did have this week was we got that 2 up, 2 down. Didn't totally fall apart. So the question is, are we going to be able to be weak enough to take this out? Have these 2 weeks become an outside bar of that or get worse? So what we want to see is what's the next 2. Right now we're closer to taking out the lows of that week. So we'll keep an eye on that. If we go to the daily, also going to start off as an inside day. Right? And you can see this chop shop, right? If you're trying to trade the SPY. And that's why, I've been talking at the nightly vids and the strat time report all about the heavy sector rotation we've been seeing, and I'll get to that in just a second. If we go to QQQ. Q's a little worse, and Q's a little heavier, holding this gap down and still making lower lows on the daily. The monthly is the best thing you got going for you. You're still inside month, but you are red month. If you go to the week, much closer. You got that 2 up, 2 down, and much closer to taking this out and being a 2 to the downside. All right, so we're going to be aware of that, and a lot of heavy tech, and we'll get to that in a second. If we go to the small cap, or we go to Apple, 2-2 reversal on the week, 2 up, 2 down. And so you can see like a lot of things, these big broadening formations here on the weekly. And until we can get out of that, if we start racing back through all this stuff, we got some problems. So we'll see on the month here, still handling inside month. And there's a lot of that stuff. And what that tells me is that, we're going to see this sector rotation probably through this month, albeit early in the month. And then May, you can have a lot of monthly signals kicking in. And that's something I'd want to know about, right? So we're always forward thinking about stuff like that. If we go to small cappers, and the small cappers still an inside month, but red. If we go to the week, we had that 2 up, 2 down. And the thing about it is you're back into an old 3 here. And so we can have a reversal, and you're much closer to taking this out. We're looking to take this out. Outside bar, poke up. Then these would become an outside bar of that. So we're going to be really aware of that in the small cappers. If you go to the daily, inside day. Start off the new week, small cappers. If you go to TLT having some issues here too. TLT in the month, 2 down. Remember, we're watching this, and it's still, since this reversal on the month, 1, 2, 3, 4 months without a higher high. Right? And that's, when people talk about swinging the strat, I'm like, if you're looking on a monthly chart and you don't have a higher high, you don't have to cover. So if we go to weekly, rough week, 2 up, 2 down. These became an outside bar of that. So TLT having a rough time. But anytime you go out on the lows, everything's going to look bad. So we'll see how it goes. And here you go, your 3, 1, 2 day here. And the magnitude was to take that out. Did that. Got any higher highs? Nope. Still good. If we go to VXX, which has been a little funky, so just from the way that they've been structuring things and stuff like that. So we'll be careful on something like that. How about UVXY? A little more pure, and you got your outside week, your 3. How are you going to get outside of that? So we'll see how that goes too. If we go to the Dow Jones Diamonds. Diamonds really drying up. And so the diamonds took that 2-2 week, but came back up. Look at that, doji in 2 weeks. So not a mucho happening there, as we can expect, because the inside month. And look at this monthly. What are you going to do with that? Nothing. All right. So if anything, over there you've got McDonald's trying to take this hammer month, 2-2 reversal over 251.35. You're barely there right now on Nike. Here, still an inside month, but starting off as inside day and holding this gap lower. So we'll see what comes of that. But basically, Procter & Gamble, monthly, 2 down, 2 up. Right, the 2-2 reversal on the month for Procter, because that tells us also XLP, which we've been watching all week and all month, really, because you get your lower low, and then boom, pivot machine gun, take these guys out. Stops there, stops there, stops there. So it does its job, and it goes into exhaustion risk by going to higher highs. But we've seen this heavy rotation in the XLPs, and that's giving you the Colgate 2-2 reversal to the upside monthly, Pepsi 2-2 reversal to the month upside. And so we can keep an eye on something like a Post, get some cereal. There you go, 2 down, 2 up. And SJM, 2 down, 2 up. So we'll see how if they continue to rotate into the XLP. Where they've been really running from is the transports. And the transports taking out last month's lows. That's a 2 up, 2 down on the transports. Having all sorts of problem over there. When we know FedEx took care of business here on the weekly. Here, 2 up, 2 down. A little bit more to take that out, so we'll see how that goes. And Union Pac here on that 3-2 down, outside week down. Then we go to the monthly, and remember, it was an inside month to the upside. But now when you take this out, now you got RevStrat and you got some more pivot guys to take out here. So Union Pac going to be in trouble below 240.98. It popped up above that, but that level going to be important going forward. The truckers really taking the beating. XPO still inside month, but on that week, 3-2 down and back into this old 3 and still a little bit lower to take that out. ODFL, beautiful inside week here to take this down to trigger the inside month and down. You took a bunch of these guys out, so a little bit of exhaustion risk, but no signs of turning just yet. If we go to XLU, we know we've been rotating into there too. Boom, still good. Ever since the RevStrat, 1, 2, 2, and just some exhaustion risk by going into the highs. We had that inside day, poked up just a little bit today. It's a Friday, but no reversal against us. And that's the key, is that still good? So, all the Dominions of the world and the AEPs and the Southerns and all that kind of stuff, we'll keep an eye on that to see if they continue to rotate into there. If we go to VNQ, a little fragmented in here and just kind of stuck in here on the month. If you go to the week, you see this, just a little red in here. So, but there are some nice movements in there. If you go to a DLR, and DLR has my attention because of this, the 2-1-2 month, inside month to the upside. So we'll see if anything more comes of that. Go to gold. Gold kind of stuck, obviously, inside month coming. But the weekly here, now an inside week. And we're going to see if these miners are leading anything because they've been coming up. This Momo Hammer on GDX. And, we'll see if anything comes of that, if the stocks are trying to lead the metal itself, but that's yet to be seen. If we go to XLF, and XLF, if you go to the monthly here, handling inside month, and look at this, doji, 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 doji month. Look at that. That's a problem. That is a problem if you're trading these things. They've been doing nothing forever, but now that we have rates on the move, maybe we get something out of it, and so if you go to the weekly, if we do start to pop up, you would have the 3-2-2 to the back up. Understanding that you're still in a monthly chop shop and people getting killed in here, but for the week, that's a possibility. Good FAS, a little bit more distance to do that, right? So it's pretty much the banks itself. If you go to KRE, regional banks, nowhere near doing that, right? So those guys having the problems over there, and they're going to start the new week as an inside day. So JP Morgan, just look at a couple of the big guys, and JP Morgan had a 2-2 reversal day. Big wow, because you're still stuck red and inside of the month. And the week here, maybe you get the 2-2, but let's not stretch anything here. Goldman Sachs stops out, but you're nowhere near taking that high of the week out. Daily was a nice little 2-2 daily for the day, and all that does is these two become an outside bar of that, but not anything major over there. Ameriprise here, and Ameriprise a little bit closer on that weekly for the potential 3-2-2, but not really. So so we'll see if any of those kick in. If we go to crude itself, it's kind of stuck in here with slight 2 up. You see all these guys stuck in here, and so in the month, handily inside month for the crude. But if you go to XLE, right, and XLE still inside month, but nice and green, right? So for the week, took out that 2-2 here. These guys are an inside bar of those two still, but with all the talk of we're going to release all this oil so the price will come down and blah blah blah, they're still going up. If you go to OIH, hammer, this is a 2 down and this is a 2 up, but they tried to hit it twice, 2 weeks in a row. All right, so we'll see if they can take these guys out and then stay up there. If we go to the big boys like Exxon, and Exxon took this out for the week. Still, like I said, a lot of these things inside month, but they're green. Chevron here inside month, but still green. So they're still trying to work. It's getting a little trapped in here, right? Especially when they're battling like a weaker market and stuff like that. So if we look at Conoco, we had a lot of nice ones today over there in the dailies, but on the weekly you can see this hammer where you got that lower low, and now potential back through these guys, right? Stop out anybody short against that stuff. So Conoco looking for like potential hammer, potential pivot machine gun. PXD, potential 2 down, 2 up, and then become an outside bar of all that. You go to Slob. Slob also pokes down, so potential 2-2 reversal back up in here. Still handling inside month. But we'll see if Slob can get it going. Otherwise, you can have that 3-1. And like I said, May could be key depending on what happens and all this stuff. If we go to, let's see that weekly. That weekly, that 2 down, and then try and take these guys out to really get going. Halliburton a little stronger still. And Halliburton's been stronger all year. But once again, we had, on the dailies, we had a bunch of these. 2 down, boom, right? It was a great Friday for the energies. If we go to Cheniere, and on the daily, chop shop in here, but on the weekly, here, the potential inside, and up for Cheniere. LNG, we'll keep an eye on that. If we go to XRT retail, we know XRT is fragmented into a lot of companies, but you do have the potential 3-2-2 on the weekly back up. Always being aware of the inside month, right? The inside month. So if we go to the big boys, you got Costco. And Costco, just an exhaustion risk. Remember, we had this, the 2-1-2 month to go into the highs. And now just an inside day to start off the week. If you go to Target, nice little week over there. Here, outside week. So you want to stay there, see if you can go 3-2, and then you'd have to stay above that. On the month, you did take out last month's highs, right? And that was a 2 up, but it was red, which means you had corrective activity on the shorter term time frames. So you'd want to stay above that, and we'll see how that goes. And Walmart going into exhaustion risk, having a nice move there. And remember, we knew about this, the 2-2 reversal month last month, and that's still good. You're just into exhaustion risk by going into the highs. If we go to AAP and the auto parts, 2-1-2 to the upside on the month for AAP. If you go to GPC, same deal, 2-1-2. So we know what they're doing with the cars. Home Depot having a rough time, but comes back and goes green on the month. And potential the 2 down, 2 up week if they want to come back through this stuff. So you always want to look for higher highs and lower lows. So here you can see that. And you can see that. So there's your broadening formation for Home Depot, and that tells you to look at Lowe's. Lowe's had a rougher one down into here, but once again on the week, potentially closer to the 2 down, 2 up, right? So we'll see how that goes. If we go to Ali. And Ali had a nice little day here. You can see coming back through all this pivots and stuff like that where people are going to get stopped out. And you got your 2 reversal month. Ross Stores just flirting with it here. And that number is 97.61, right? So you backed off about it. But if we start moving through there, that'll get my attention. If we go to SIG SIG handling inside month, but we'll see if the retail picks up again because potentially you got that 2-2 hammer week back up, and we'll see. If we go to Tractor Supply on the weekly, 3-2-2. Not a lot of magnitude on that, but if we take this out, we're looking to take that out, right? Still inside of the month, always going to be aware of that, but you are green on the month, so you would have full time frame continuity upside. If you go to VFC, having a rough year on the macro list, still an inside month, but always gets my attention when you get the hammer counter shooter, right, to come back through there if they want to pick up a little steam there. If we go to Williams-Sonoma, and Williams-Sonoma, green on the month, comes back into that range, and I'm sorry, green on the week, closer to going 2-2 back up on the month. Still a doji, but you're back into that range, so not too excited about this, but did have a nice little day here in the 2 down, 2 up. So here, the higher high and the lower low, that's your broadening formation as these two become an outside bar of that. The question is, can you come up and take that? We can watch all that with the retail together. If we go to Homebuilders, XHB, and had a nice 2-2 going on the day, but we know in general these things have been really rough. Right, the monthly red and XHB and ITB here, and so today they did a little short covering, but now shooter counters hammer, and what that means is these two became an outside bar of that, but then the buyers didn't step up, and Lowe's and Home Depot stayed firm, and they're both in there. So that's a problem to potentially just start off on Monday, because we know Lennar shooter on the day and still inside month and down, and so in those dailies you're going to see a lot of those look similar too, like KBH, shooter counters hammer, and all that kind of stuff. And if there's one anomaly over there, you had Weyerhaeuser holding up. Weyerhaeuser went 3-2 to the upside, so we want to see if that maintains, or does it come down with the rest of them, or what goes on here in the month. Tries to take that inside month to the downside, but gets back into there. So, and this is also a 3. So cross current, a little cross currents in there, but even if Weyerhaeuser holds, the rest of them might go. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's go to the IBB. And IBB a little boring, but on the day here, Doji, and there's some interesting stuff in there. IBB, not itself, because the XLV is where you want it to be, and we knew that. XLV is the one that's been going. Here's your month, still going. Now you got some exhaustion risk by going into the highs, right? But one of the things we want to do is always watching the relationships. What is IBB or XBI doing compared to XLV? And that can tell you which stocks to go into based on who's in what. So if we know UNH and the healthcares have been coming up, talked about that all week, and UNH just going into exhaustion risk by going into the highs, but so far so good. If you look at some old school drugs, you got Abbott trying to go 2 down, 2 up on the month here above 123.09, right? You're there, and that is important to me because you look at the old school druggies, AbbVie, just ripping. AbbVie ripping. You've had some nice moves at Bristol Myers, Lilly, inside day, but you can see how much stronger those have been. How about Merck, whatever, all that kind of stuff. And then we can go down to Pfizer. They're a vacciner, but they're an old school druggie, right? And we used to call big pharma, and not on the highs yet. And a lot of those other things have blasted up there, so we'll see how those act. If we go to BMRN 3-1-2 off the month, right? It's been doing nothing forever, but once you get that 3 going, that tells me that they're involved. They want to try and take it up, or they want to try and take it down. They meet in the middle. Now let's see if we get the real move, and that's over 82.57. If we go to BNTX, we know that's a Vaxxer, doing nothing on the month. Yeah, but you got an inside week, and it's been going sideways for 3 weeks, but you do have an inside week, and we can watch that with Moderna and NVAX and see if anything comes of that. If you go to BPMC, and BPMC, 2-2 reversal month, 2 down, 2 up, here, above 68.40, has my attention. We can look for further signals there. If you go to GH, GH, hammer month up, 2 down, 2 up, over 69.58. You're there to see if there's any more to it, if it wants to join the party. If we go to GILD, oh boy, we've been waiting on this forever. But here, if we can get more going here over 62.25, you got that 2 down, 2 up, all right, on the month. We go to ICLR. Inside month to the upside, 2-1-2 reversal here in healthcare over 252.12. If you got Thermo, TMO, also an inside month to the upside, above 601.13. Keep an eye on that. XLK, handily an inside month, but red, and the weekly was the 2 up, 2 down, like so much tech. And that tells us Microsoft and Apple, and Microsoft went 2 down, always being aware that you're handily inside month. And that means you can chop back and forth. If you go to the SMH, still handling an inside month, but blood red. And that was nice on the 3-2 week to the downside, right? We knew about that. The thing about this is now you're back into this old 3. Here, that's another broadening formation. So there's a variation of the 3-2-2. So unless we have a reversal, we're going to go take this out. 237.32. So you got some more room on that. If we go to Facebook, Ow. So Facebook, I believe, is outside week. Yep, outside week, that's a 3. So the question is this all you got? And then boom, back down she goes. We'll see, because that monthly slightly took that out, but back into the range. And when you see something like this, you know there's a lot of people buried in here. A lot of people got out, but there was, if you were watching CNBC or anything, there was a lot of guys picking bottoms the whole way down too, right? So you got guys getting out, but you also had guys getting in, thinking they're getting some sort of deal. It's like, let's make them pay. Anyway, let's go to Amazon. Amazon handling inside month, potentially a 3-1er month. And what's cool about that? 1-3-1, and then a real move. And that's what I'm talking about when I say there's all these inside months. The real big mover might be May, but we got some time on that. Go to the weekly. 2 up, 2 down. Did we know about that? We sure did. And here's your broadening formation there, all right, for Amazon. If we go to Netflix, ow. And Netflix on the week, 2 down. Here on the month. Here, I don't know if you took that out. Nope, still an inside month, but we know from the macro video that this thing's having problems on a yearly basis, right? And here's how you don't call tops. You trade reversals on the month. Slight higher high, that's a 2 up. Boom. 2 down below 640.01. Oh, we're down to 355 with no higher highs. Can you swing trade shorts with strat? I think you can. If you go to Google. Goog stock, and you can see all these months just stuck in here, right? Just absolutely stuck in there, but better off than getting a $200 haircut. But you did have the 2 up, 2 down on the week, so we'll see if that follows suit with a bunch of the other stuff, because once again, you're back in an old 3. Here's an outside month, or an outside week. That's stuff you want to know about, because that was the original broadening formation. Here was the attempt to take it up. Now you're coming back through. Go to NVIDIA. NVIDIA was a beautiful 2-2 reversal on the week. 2 up, 2 down, right? And coming back through all this kind of stuff. Still an inside month, but getting bloodier and redder, right? And that's something I want to know about. That's time frame continuity. I want long red bars and long green bars if I'm going to get involved. If you go to AYX, not doing much on the month, but you did get the outside week if they want to go 3-2. And as we've seen with a lot of tech, they've had corrective activity to the upside, but they've been a lot lower. And a lot of these things just continue to get crushed. So if that continues, we'll see. Thank you, 10 here. Adobe on the week. Inside week pokes up. This would be RevStrat week to the downside if it takes out 439.57. Once again, still handling inside month, but that's something I'd want to know about. If we go to LRCX, still an inside month, but you can see once again blood red. And if you go to weekly, the 3-2 down. Outside bar, 3-2 down, and this is back into an old 3. So here's your broadening formation here, and if this continues without a reversal, we go down and take out 466.06. So that's still a nice move from here. If we go to net, and net once again was a 2 up, 2 down weekly reversal. Monthly still handling inside, so we're going to be aware of that, but also it's a potential 1-3-1. That's something I would want to know about, certainly in May. And we held the gap, slight gap lower, and we're an inside day to start off the week. If we go to NTAP, NTAP having a rough week here. 2 up, 2 down, no higher highs. And if you go to the monthly, here, inside month, we're getting closer. That'd be 76.59. If you can take that out, your inside month to the downside. If you go to the weekly, see this, the slight 2 up, coming back through all this kind of stuff. And all these guys, you see this, are in the mother bar of this, because this was an inside bar. Here's your mother bar. Couldn't get out of it, and now coming back down. So when you start having price discovery start over again, at least we want to look to take this out, which is that 76.59, which is an inside month to the downside. So we're looking to take that out. And because it was an inside month, all this stuff, maybe it gets worse. We'll see how that happens. If we go to OCTA, potential RevStrat week. Inside week pokes up, then comes back down. It's a 2-week inside pattern of this mother bar, so if things turn around, this will also be good above that, but below that, we're looking to stop all these guys out and take them out. You're still an inside month, but you are red on the month too, so you could have full time frame continuity to the downside to take that stuff out. If we go to Teradyne in the semis, Teradyne, still an inside month, but blood red. Inside this monthly mother bar here, and another potential 131, but getting closer to taking that out. Go to the weekly, you'll see this, that 3-2 down, chop shop in here in this mother bar, but you got your higher high, and now you're back into the old 3. So if we don't have a reversal, we're going to take that out. If it's weak enough, we're going to take it all out. So we'll see how that goes. If we go to Twitter, in Musk we trust, unless you got a weekly shooter, and go 2-2 reversal back into the gap. So keep an eye on that. If we go to Texas Instruments, 2 up, 2 down. We know about that. We sure did. And coming back through a bunch of this stuff here. Handily an inside month. So we'll be aware of that. And today, you got your inside day to the downside, but you got more of these guys down here if they want to take it out. If we go to just a few more, AAWW. Oh boy. Oh yeah, the 2 down, the 2 up, and the 2-2 reversal on the month, and it's getting cremated. You had a 3 bar here, which means this formation is still expanding. They beat it up pretty bad, right? So we could use a little triangle out, but that signal is still good. This monthly signal is good all month, and you can see it's been a lot lower in the past. If we go to IQV, 2-2 reversal on the monthly to the upside for whatever they do. 2 down, 2 up, and that's still maintaining. If you go to iPaper, and iPaper just kind of sitting there, and you don't have to jump the gun here, but getting closer to the 2 down, 2 up month, and so above 46.86. He's kind of just sitting right around there, but that's something I'd want to know about if they can take that out. If you go, and on the weekly, you do have the 2 up, 2 down. Not a lot of magnitude on that to take this out. For these two to become outside bar of that, but you never know when you get that monthly to kick in. If you go to Nucor, and Nucor sets up the RevStrat week. It's handily an inside month doji. Always want to be aware of that. Obviously, you can watch that with the rest of the steels in the metals, but on the weekly, you do have the potential 1, 2, 2. The stops are going here on top of here and here and here, and just go boom and take them all out. You can watch that with your letter X and your STLDs and all that kind of fun. If you go to chickens, PPC on the month, that's a 2-2 reversal. That's a 3-2-2 outside, down, 3-2-2 so long as this thing's above 25.53. If you go to STZ, 2-1-2 to the upside on the month. Right, that's something I'd want to know about. And then it went out today. It's holding a gap up and an inside day to start off on Monday. If we go to VECO, VECO, all sorts of trouble over here. Monthly, inside month to the downside, and you still got these guys to take out. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. If you go to Yeti going on the inside month here, below 54.76. Expensive coolers. In a recession? Oh, we'll see. And, of course, Teslers. And Teslers on the month, 2 up, but red, coming back through. You go to the weekly, outside week, that's a 3. So, and we're close to taking that out to the downside. So we want to see if we can take that out, and then you got to stay down because that's an outside bar. And if you go to the daily, you see this, inside day today. So once that breaks, then we'd want it to stay down. Or if it starts to come back up, you've got the higher high and the lower low. And that's why oftentimes we're willing to go either way because, on Mondays, 3 of the 4 major time frames start over again, the monthly, weekly, daily, and 60. So, so the daily, 60, and weekly. The monthlies, and there's a lot of inside months, all right? So we're going to be aware of that, and that's why we can expect the back and forth. But we have been seeing this strong sector rotation in the utilities, into the XLP, and then each day, different things. So we know the macro stuff and the energy is still strong, and but that's why we play the game. We let them open and say, here's what we know to be true. All right, that's going to do it for this weekend. I'm Rob Smith, Smith in the Black, with the Weekend Vid.